Wife cheated, but I'm turned on. What's wrong with me? The notification buzzed on my wrist. Sarah. A heart emoji followed by can't wait for tonight. David, that's who she meant. My stomach churned, but not entirely with the disgust I expected. There was a prickle, a strange, unwanted heat. Sarah and I lived in a glass and steel box overlooking the city. My design. Perfect angles, controlled light. Just like my life, I thought, controlled. Maybe too much. Sarah, a whirlwind of color and bohemian chaos, had brought life to the starkness, but lately the contrast felt like a judgment. It had started subtly. Late nights at her studio claiming demanding clients. Business trips with David, her impossibly charming business partner. I dismissed it, buried myself in blueprints and contracts. I was building empires, she was taking pretty pictures. The text messages were an accident. Sarah had left her phone charging in the kitchen, screen lighting up with incoming notifications. I'd grabbed it to check the time, and there it was. A conversation thread with David, filled with breathless declarations and graphic descriptions. The initial shock was a physical blow. My vision swam, my hands trembled, but then a weird detachment, like watching a movie. A sick fascination. I found myself rereading the messages, focusing on the details. His words, her replies. A scenario playing out in my head, vivid and disturbingly stimulating. Tom, my best friend, was predictably unhelpful. Dude, she's screwing David. You gotta smash his face in. Assert dominance. Show her who's boss. Tom's solution for everything involved physical violence and a healthy dose of testosterone. I envied his simplicity. I also knew that wasn't me. I don't know, man, I'd said, swirling the whiskey in my glass. It's just I'm not even that angry. I mean, I am, but it's complicated. Tom snorted. Complicated? She's cheating on you. What's complicated about that? Everything, I wanted to say, everything was complicated. Dr. Vance, my therapist, offered a different perspective. Mark, she said, her voice calm and measured, your reaction is not necessarily pathological. It's a window into your own psyche. What does this arousal mean to you? What is it connected to? Childhood. Control. My father. These were the themes that emerged in our sessions. My father, a stern, emotionally distant man, had demanded perfection. I'd learned to suppress my feelings, to control every aspect of my life. Was this perverse arousal a manifestation of that control? A way to exert power over a situation where I was, in reality, powerless? I started observing Sarah. Secretly. Pathetic, I know, but I couldn't help myself. I'd linger near her studio, watching her through the window as she laughed with David. I'd scrutinize her outfits, noticing the way she dressed differently when she was with him. More vibrant, more alive. One evening, I followed them. They drove to a secluded restaurant outside the city, their bodies close in the car. I parked across the street, watching them through binoculars like some kind of pervert. The way he touched her arm, the way she leaned into him. It was all so intimate. And God help me, it was turning me on. Back home, I found myself exploring fantasies I'd never considered before. Taboo things. Things that disgusted me but also intrigued me. I felt like I was losing my mind, spiraling down a dark, twisted path. Emily, an intern at my firm, started flirting with me. Young, attractive, and unapologetically forward. She was a distraction, a temptation. I knew it was wrong, but I couldn't resist the pull. Her attention was intoxicating, a validation of my masculinity at a time when I felt utterly emasculated. One night, after a late meeting, she cornered me in the elevator. You work too hard, Mark, she said, her voice husky. You deserve to have some fun. She leaned in, her lips inches from mine. I wanted to kiss her, to lose myself in her youthful energy. But then I saw Sarah's face in my mind. The look of betrayal, the pain in her eyes. I pushed Emily away. I can't, I said, my voice trembling. I can't. Sarah noticed my changed behavior. The late nights, the sudden interest in her work, the subtle distancing. She became suspicious, defensive. What's going on with you, Mark? She asked one night, her eyes narrowed. You've been acting weird. Nothing, I lied. I'm just stressed. Don't lie to me, she said, her voice rising. I can feel it. Something's different. The truth hung in the air between us, unspoken but palpable. The tension was unbearable. Then, I found the cabin. A receipt tucked away in her purse. A secluded retreat in the mountains. I knew what it was, their hideaway. I drove there, consumed by a mixture of dread and anticipation. I parked a distance away and hiked through the woods, my heart pounding in my chest. I saw them through the window. Sarah and David, naked, in each other's arms. The scene was raw, primal, their bodies intertwined, lost in a moment of pure, unadulterated passion. A wave of nausea washed over me, followed by a strange, detached curiosity. I watched them, my mind racing, my body responding in ways I didn't understand. I confronted her the next day, not with rage, but with a cold, calculated calm. "I know about David," I said, my voice flat. "I saw you." At the cabin, her face paled. She didn't deny it. "How long?" I asked. "A few months," she whispered. "Why?" She looked at me, her eyes filled with a mixture of guilt and defiance. "Because I'm suffocating, Mark," she said. "Because you're never there. Because you're so obsessed with control that you've forgotten how to feel." Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. Was she right? Had I driven her into his arms? And what about him? I asked, gesturing vaguely. "Is he better than me?" "He sees me, Mark," she said. "He sees the real me, the one you've been trying to bury for years." The argument escalated. Accusations flew back and forth, years of unspoken resentments finally bubbling to the surface. "And what about you, Mark?" she screamed. "What about your weird fascination with all of this? You think I haven't noticed? You're turned on by it, aren't you? You sick freak." Her words stung. Was she right? Was I a sick freak? In that moment, something snapped. The anger, the pain, the confusion, all coalesced into a primal need. I grabbed her, pulling her close. She struggled at first, but then she yielded. Our kiss was brutal, desperate, fueled by rage and a twisted form of desire. We tore at each other's clothes, our bodies colliding in a tangle of limbs and emotions. I don't know what it was. Revenge, a desperate attempt at reconciliation, a surrender to the darkness within me. All I know is that in that moment, we were both lost. We separated shortly after. I moved into a soulless apartment downtown, surrounded by concrete and glass. Just like my life, I thought. Empty. Therapy continued. Dr. Vance helped me unpack the layers of my psyche to confront the demons that had been lurking beneath the surface for so long. I explored my fantasies, my desires. I researched cuckoldry, BDSM, all the taboo corners of the internet. I felt a sense of shame, but also a strange sense of liberation. I realized that my arousal wasn't about Sarah and David. It was about control, a twisted way of feeling powerful in the face of betrayal, a way of reclaiming agency in a situation where I felt utterly helpless. I went to Sarah's photography exhibition. Her work was stunning, raw and emotional, a reflection of her inner turmoil. I saw her with David. Their connection was undeniable. They belonged together in a way that we never had. I left the exhibition feeling a sense of acceptance. Not forgiveness, not closure, but acceptance. I couldn't control Sarah's choices or my own feelings, but I could control my reaction to them. I went back to my apartment, a blank canvas staring back at me. I didn't know what the future held. I didn't know if I would ever be able to love again, but I knew that I was finally starting to understand myself. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The darkness was still there, lurking within me. But now, I knew it was there. And maybe, just maybe, that was the first step towards finding the light. Maybe the glass box had cracked and some light can finally get in.